You are now listening to the Brothers and Lovers Podcast. Welcome. Come on. Stand up, rise up, rise. What you gonna do about it? Get your mind up. How you gonna move about it? Get your shoulders right. And you get right to it, and we unite. Cause we gotta fight.
Shall I stand by my brother's side? If he wrong, I should tell him why. Enter battle, we shall ride. Let the world feel our battle cry.
Stand up, rise up. What you gonna do about it? Get your mind up. How you gonna move about it? Get your shoulders right. And you get right to it, and we unite. Cause we gotta fight. Stand up, rise up. What you gonna do about it? Get your mind up. How you gonna move about it? Get your shoulders right. And you get right to it, and we unite.
Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome. I go by the name Off City. I would like to welcome you for tuning in to Brothers and Lovers Podcast, episode 15, where I ask my panel of brothers to bring their love for their children, our love for our families, and our love for our communities. Mix it with some passion. Sprinkle some facts to the uncomfortable conversations. You know what to do. Let's salute our brothers that's not here right now. Brother Damo and Brother Hall. But tonight on my panel, I got my brother Larry.
Yo, you already know, man. Please excuse my background, but the grind don't stop. But I'm here. Yo, I do this for the culture, man. For my people. I love all of you. I'm grateful to be here. Blessed to see another one. God is forever, man. King Noah, Elijah. You already know I do it for y'all.
Yes. And I also got my brother Ron.
What's going on, man? Behold how good and pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity, man. It's certainly a blessing to be here. I'm looking forward for another great show, man.
Yes. Okay, I'm gonna step aside and let my brother Larry lead this conversation. You have this one, brother.
Thank you, sir. So, as City always reminds us, it's time to get a little bit more uncomfortable. So let's do that. Let's step into it. Tonight, we back on the topic of mental health. But we're gonna go dig a little deeper. Tonight, the question is, does our time in pain make us stronger? I'm gonna just fly off and let City take the first stab at it. Before I give what I think, I would like to know what my panel of brothers think. Does our time and our pain make us stronger?
I would say it's a yes and a no. I do feel some people can and some people can't. Some people get deeper in the pain. That's what I say.
Brother Ron, take a stab at it for us. Does our time and pain make us stronger?
I don't like what Offset said, but he's 100% right. Does our time and pain make us stronger? It can, but it can also kill us. So I look at it. When we talk about pain, we're talking about something that's unpleasant, something that we're going through. But there are things that are unpleasant that we go through that definitely make us stronger. If you work out in the gym, when you are exercising a muscle and you want to get stronger, there's going to be some pain associated with that. So that's the only way you're going to get stronger is by going through something. But then sometimes you can overwork the muscle and cause injury. And so when we talk about mental health, sometimes a person can get so low, the pain can get so great that they don't survive. So, it really depends on what type of pain, the individual, just so many different factors that I want. You just can't make these general statements anymore. Not based upon what people in this society are dealing with now. Maybe there was a time that you could make a general statement that pain makes you stronger. Maybe there was, but now we know for a fact that pain is killing people. People don't get stronger; they end up dead. So I'll just leave it at that right
Okay, okay. So let me say, my take on it is this. I'm going to agree with the both of you. I believe that you can become stronger in your pain, depending on the decisions that you've made while in your pain. Because, like you said, Brother Ron, there are times it becomes so debilitating that death, quitting, giving up, or not really feeling like you have anything going, you have anything left to push forward, then no, there's no strength there. You feel like you've given it all you got, and you got nothing left. And the only thing left is the yield. Then there's the other side of it, where depending on what you've experienced, if you've experienced anything prior to that current pain, those you could come out of that stronger if you have a foundation where you've now made a decision to not give up because of all the other things that you could have possibly experienced. Like, I will not fold or bend to this because I've made it through so much else. My answer to the question in its totality is, can you become stronger through your time of pain? Yes, you can, if you've made a decision to get stronger. Now, I say that loosely because that decision doesn't come easy. Some of us battle through our pains by ourselves. Some of us have a village, a support system that can very well propel us into a place where living in our pain just isn't an option. Where you got a big mama or best friend or just someone you trust that stands in the gap and says, as long as you here down in this trench, I'm gonna ride it with you. And they can help you propel and climb out. Some people aren't that fortunate. Some people got to work way harder to get to that decision, to want to be stronger before they actually make the decision. Sometimes it's the journey to the decision that's just as crippling, where death becomes an option, where quitting becomes an option. The journey to the strength sometimes through the pain is just too overwhelming. And a conversation that you and I, Brother Ron, had where we discussed earlier, sometimes we see people hurting and we ourselves from the outside, we're not perceiving or getting a clear understanding of what that person is actually experiencing. So we use common everyday rhetoric. Like, I can only imagine what you're going through. No, you can't. You can't imagine. I've been there before. No, you haven't. Not this. I whatever you need, I'm here for you. You can't be. You can't give me what I need if I don't know what I need, which is why I've been in this place so long. When we say we understand, that right there is the disconnect. Because you can't. We should probably lead off with, I can't imagine what you're experiencing. But what I can provide you with is time. I can sacrifice that. I can give you time. I can't give you all of it because I don't control it. But when you need me, I will do my best to provide what I can. That gives those people options, which they feel like they have none of. They don't have options. I'm stuck here. That's all I got. That's my answer. So I got another question. When we come across people or ourselves, when we've been in a place of pain, I ask this question. When you've been in a place of pain, what are the things that you feel are the most debilitating or the largest hurdles for you to get over or press through in your own pain? Whatever that pain might look like. Because there are different pains that are designed differently to do different things to us based on how we got there. But what would you say is one of the hurdles, Brother Ron, when you've ever been in a place of pain? What's one of the largest hurdles for you to overcome?
You know, I think the largest hurdle for me personally, and probably for others, is recognizing that this is real. Um, this is real. I think there's a tendency, we talked about it before on another show where we talked about manning up, manning up, things of that nature. That hey, it's all right, just chuck it up, man. It's okay, you'll pull through. And I think that Superman mentality that we carry oftentimes can hurt us. So I think the first thing we have to do is recognize that I am in a bad place, and it's okay. Uh, that doesn't mean that I'm not a man. That doesn't mean that I'm over exaggerating or trying to looking for sympathy, because we're not. But you have to recognize that whatever you're dealing with is very real. It's a concern, and it's something that has to be addressed, opposed to trying to gloss over it. Somebody hits you with a cliche. We talked about this earlier, Brother Larry. Time heals all wounds. You'll be okay. And that may not be the case. So I think that's the first and most important thing, is recognizing that the pain that you're feeling is very real. It's something that must be addressed. You're not doing it for sympathy. You're not trying to do anything other than overcome it, and recognize that it's going to be a challenge, and it's okay to struggle in that challenge. But as long as you're taking steps to get through it, I think you'll be fine. But that's the first thing, and I think that's the most difficult thing, oftentimes, for most of us, particularly as men of color.
Bro, you got it on mute still.
Sorry. Brother City, what would you say is your largest hurdle to overcome within any pain that you've experienced? What would you say was the hardest thing for you to deal with?
One of the hardest things, I guess, for me to deal with is how deep the pain is, how deep it goes. Usually when I figure out how deep it goes, I can figure out what I need to get out of it, if it makes sense, or to trying to get through it. But just because, like, the pain can hurt. You can take a situation way harder than it actually is, but it's harder on you, if it makes sense, because how you may think about it. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's the way. All right, when it goes down, boom, I need to take a second to really analyze it and really digest it and see, like, okay, do I really? How deep does this hurt me? Like, you know what I mean?
Okay. I got another question. Either one of you can chime in. You can step in. As Black men, it's said that we're the last to go seek any type of advice, any type of help. I mean, we're slated as the last to even go see a physician until we on our last leg. What do we say as Black men on this panel, speaking to pains that we've experienced, speaking to the mental health issues, addictions that some of us might have experienced ourselves? What do we say to the younger Black men that are listening, that to the world that are listening, and younger Black women? Because it's the stereotype against just the minority, the Black minority as a whole, that we don't seek help. We just try to handle it and just push forward. What advice do we give those who are listening as to why it's so necessary to seek advice, to seek help, to seek just someone out on the outside of a family member or a friend who's so closely tight knit to us to speak to what it is that we deal with mentally, the pains, the discouragement, the insecurities, the things that start small that end up so big that ultimately finds us just detached from not only the ones we love, but just from life itself. And living in that lost, just overly saturated, negative, dark hole that we most of the times finds ourselves in, that where no one can reach us and no one can help us. Because we see that with our youth now today. What would you say to your younger self? What would you say to your younger self that was in that dark place that's that looks identical to that younger person today? Not when you look back. What would you say to them to get them through, to even start the process of healing, to get stronger? City, I'll let you start that one.
What would I say to my younger self to get through the pain? Really take it in. I really do believe, like, at least for me, pain does make me stronger. I know that sounds crazy, but I think I became a stronger person through all the little obstacles I ever came across. And I do believe, I know this is, but this is what I do believe. Nothing's put in front of you that you can't really, you can't really take down. It's just an obstacle that you may have to think how to get around it, or you may have to think differently. And that's the key thing I would tell myself. Like, it's just make sure you can just think differently. Like, if something seems too hard, just go at it a different way. Like, you know what I mean? That makes sense. That I get.
I
Like,
got you. I got you. Brother Ron, so your
You
younger
know,
self, he's struggling. What would you say to him when you look, if you could look back and talk to him?
I would say to my younger self that it's okay to get help. Um, not only is it okay, it's beneficial. And then I would challenge myself or challenge anybody else to think upon something that they've been able to achieve in life, something that they're proud of, something that they did. And then I would ask, did you do it alone? Did you, what assistance did you get? And if you think about that, I think it applies to all of us. Anything worthwhile that we did, we got some assistance in some way, shape, or form. Whether we watch somebody else, and in watching, it could be a positive or a negative experience. You can watch somebody behave badly and learn that's not how I want to do it. I want to do it a different way. Or you can get advice from someone that's truly beneficial and they can tell you how to achieve. Maybe they can show you how to get there. Whether we're talking about sports, somebody teaching you a crossover move, whether we're talking about a workplace, somebody teaching you, how do you get the job or how you get the promotion. But in most things that we've been able to achieve or make significant gains or progress, there's been someone or something along the way that helped us or provided guidance to us. So I would say, listen, when it comes to pain, it's no different. There, think about it and figure out, okay, where do I get this help that I may need that may be helpful to me? Can I get it? Can I get it from a professional? Can I talk to somebody that may have gone through something and I value their advice? You know, can I talk to my pastor at church? I mean, whoever you believe that you can get some assistance from, I think I would tell myself and other people to go there and don't just sit there and try to figure it out. I think that's a huge danger that we often do. And I hear younger generations say it all the time. My daughter is quick to tell me, I'll figure it out. And sometimes that's not good. First of all, it's not efficient because you may be creating a wheel that's already created. And second of all, sometimes you don't figure it out because you don't have the tools to figure it out. You haven't been there before. That's why it's a challenge and it's a problem to you. So there's nothing wrong with getting some help. So that's what I would say to my younger self. There is nothing wrong with getting some help, seeking some advice, words of encouragement, words of comfort, or seeing somebody doing it wrong and learning that's not the way to do it.
So I'm gonna answer that question, and I'm listening to what you brother said, and it's all of that and then some in my answer. Um, if I could talk to my younger self with all that I've gone through to get to this point, I would say they can't help you because they don't know. You need a hug. No one knows it but you. You cry yourself to sleep. No one knows it but you. To the world, you the toughest thing walking. You wear your heart on your sleeve, but you wear it for others, not yourself. Every drink that you try to drink, drown it out, doesn't work because the pain is heavier and more toxic than the drink. Your mom, your dad, you want love that they don't know, or you hope that they know to provide you with, but they don't know because you don't know how to say it without making them feel bad. You don't want a pity party, but yet you feel pitiful. I would ultimately tell myself to be kind to myself, be kinder. And maybe you might not understand how to be kinder to yourself, but it would start by stopping everything you're doing to get rid of the pain first. You can't drown it out in different women. You can't drown it out in alcohol. You can't drown it out in this I don't care attitude. Nor can you make people understand something you aren't saying. I say that to not only my younger self, but to those who are listening, old and young. No one can help you through something that they don't know you're experiencing. There's no doctor that can prescribe you or help you efficiently if they really don't know the nature of your problem. It takes, you know what hurts more than the pain you feel right now? The fact that you can't be honest in your expression about it. Because that's the one thing that's stagnating your ability to get stronger. If you don't tell anybody else what you got going on, go stand in the mirror and say it to yourself. Tell yourself what you're feeling. Because it could just very well be that you've never heard it out loud. So bring it together. Saying it out loud, hearing, I got a problem. I've been crying for a whole week and I have yet to be able to know what's wrong. Sometimes it's not a matter of knowing what's wrong in order for you to begin healing in your pain. Sometimes just knowing that you're in pain is the first step. Something is off. I was smiling all day yesterday, and today I don't want to smile. Why? What took place between today and yesterday? We don't check in with ourselves, yet we encourage each other to check in with each other. How can I check on you if I don't know what's going on with me? Most times that's what stops me from checking in on you because I got so much going on that I'm still trying to figure it out. There is no figuring it out. What's understood don't need to be said. It needs to be addressed. You know something's off because you know you. Ron, City, everybody listening, you know you. I know Larry. I know when Larry off. Also know that I don't want to tell Ron and City that something's off. Because I don't want to have the conversation about, well, what's wrong? How can I help? Do you need something? Talk to me about it. Because Larry feels like you don't understand. Because if I don't have the tools to fix it, how could you? I'm just as much a man. I'm just as strong. How could you help me? And we undermine the value of listening We undermine the value of someone wanting to sacrifice their time. They might not understand, but you need to know what you need in that moment. Do you want to vent? Do you want an opinion? What do you need in this moment? And it don't have to be some grand old help me how to fix my life. No. Right now, I need you to listen. Right now, I want you to hear what I'm not saying because I know that I might not be able to convey what I'm feeling clear enough for you to get it. But if you know anything about pain, which everybody on 2 feet knows in some form or fashion, then you will understand that what I'm saying is I need help. And I would hope that if you were listening from a place where you really wanted to help me, that you would hear my heart and not my mouth. I say all that to say, for those who are listening, it's not just mental health that people suffer from. It's brokenness. It's broken hearts. It's empty voids that we try to fill with so many different things, which is what even posed me to ask the question when we arrived here. Does the time in your pain, can you get stronger? Yes, you can get stronger, but you will not get stronger in the absence of the pain. You will get stronger in the presence of the pain, in the acknowledgement of the pain. Sometimes we want to eradicate the pain, get rid of it. City, you said something earlier. You said, sometimes I feel like the pain makes me stronger. Like I get stronger in my pain because once I acknowledge it, I know how to move with it. I challenge anybody who's in pain, who's listening, hear the words of my heart, not my mouth. I know what pain feel like. I'm sure every brother on this panel know what pain feel like. But in order to sit on this panel, we understood that you had to accept the pain, not run from it. You had to embrace and acknowledge the pain, not ignore it. We had to come to a place where it's not about the man that I am that's going to influence how I deal with my pain. It's the fact that I want to be alive to enjoy the time that I have in my right mind and be able to share laughs. So I got to make a decision in the midst of that pain. What do I want? Do I want to come out of this pain stronger? Or do I want to sit in this pain and let it cripple me and very well take me out? And with that, I yield. So,
You know,
Brother
I got a
Ron, I
question.
see you right.
Yeah,
Please.
I'm writing because I don't want to lose it. But my question is this: how do you or anyone else, how do you articulate what you said so beautifully when you said, listen to the words from my heart, not from my mouth? How do you articulate that to those around us who care and are genuinely interested? Uh, when your mouth is saying, I'm good, leave me alone, I'm going to be all right. Oftentimes our mouth is pushing people away uh, because we're in pain. You know what I mean? I think about if you ever had a dog, if your dog is hurt, your dog is not going to come to you and say, fix me, help me. Your dog is going to run away. Your dog may even try to bite you because he's in pain. And all he's thinking about is that, or she's thinking about is that pain. So when you were saying that, my thing is, how do you articulate that? And then then those of us who may not be in pain at the moment, those who may be receiving that, how do we pick up on that? That this person is truly in pain and may not be able to articulate the way that you just did. I pose that to everybody.
I've been on both sides. I've been the one crying out for pain, crying out in my pain, and screaming for everyone to leave me alone. And then I've been on the other side, being yelled at to leave the person alone because I see the pain. To answer your question, man, it takes me to such a place. I'm sorry. There is no definitive answer to that. You only can pray that God leads you to those who he know will listen and be able to dissect, or more or less just be able to tell, like, nah, I know something ain't right. So I'm gonna give them today, but tomorrow I'm gonna be back. Then when I come back tomorrow, they might still be in the same place. So tomorrow, I'm gonna give them the time, and then I'm gonna go back. And it's about consistency, because the one thing that's missing from somebody who's been hurting, somebody that's in pain, they feel like the only thing that's been constant is the pain, not the people who check in, not the people who care. Because most times they feel like they're so misunderstood. No one cares. No one's checking in. And in that moment, what they need is, although they're pushing you away, they are really still trying to pull you in against what they're feeling. They're in that moment, you're forcing them to battle with that pain. You're forcing them to battle with wanting to keep you out, because they really want you in. They just don't know how. So it requires a resiliency and a perseverance from the person who's trying. It's required. It's hard, but it's required. That's why they say you need a plethora, you need a village. Because one person, you might burn them out. They keep trying, eventually they might quit. But you pray that you get it before they quit. There was a question that I don't want to miss it, in the chat, from Joe. When you're actually going through pain at the moment, when do you realize you need to get out? And what do you actually do to heal if time isn't the answer? Wow, Joe. I'm gonna let yo, City, I'm gonna let you touch that, man. Y'all gonna have me on here crying, bro. You have me on here crying, man. I already done shed a few tears. Y'all gonna have me on here bawling, ugly face, snot nose, man. I need some help. Bail me out of this one, man, before I get ugly face, man.
Let's break it down. Let's break it down. You have to recognize, you have to be in tune with yourself. You have, like you said before, you have to know who you are to know if you're really in pain. Not to know if you're really in pain, but to understand that you're in pain, I guess. You know what I mean? When do you realize you need to get out? Oh, wow. I guess when do you realize you need to get out of it? Is when it hurts too much. When I was like, my thing is, I try and weigh the good and the bad. I understand everything's good and bad. There's everything in life is good and bad. You're trying to weigh the good and bad. Once the bad starts outweighing the good, I think that's time to get out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's how I look at everything. And what do you do actually when you don't have time? You always have time. As long as you're alive, you have time. Like, you can heal. You may have to go by yourself. That's just it. Like, but you always time does not stop. That's a key thing about it. Time does not stop. You could just put stuff into it, but time does not stop. It continues going. You just ride it out. I hope I answered that. Go ahead, Brother Ron. You want to hop on and help me out with that?
Man, I'm sitting here. Those questions are so deep, and I'm gonna just say these lyrics to you because I don't know the answer. But there's a song written by a gentleman by the name of Donnie McClurkin, and the name of the song is "Stand." And he said, "What do you do when you've done all you can, and it seems like it's never enough? And what do you say when your friends turn away and you're all alone? Tell me, what do you give when you give in your all and it seems like you can't make it through? Well, you just stand. Then there's nothing left to do. You just stand. Watch the Lord see you through. Yes, after you've done all you can, you just stand." If you're familiar with that song, it's a very beautiful song, but the lyrics, I think it touches on what we've been saying. when you stand, you've gotten to a point that you're realizing that this pain is time isn't fixing it. Time isn't doing it. But I need to get out, and he's calling upon a higher power. He's calling upon our Father in heaven to assist, and maybe that's what you can do. But the thing is, you still have to stand and recognize that you will come through it. You have to stay focused and believe in whatever it is that you believe in. If you believe, whatever that is, I'm not here to preach to anybody, but whatever it is that you believe in, keep believing in that, and then allow that to guide you in the direction you need to go. Because if you don't, the risk is too great. If you stay in that situation and not take steps to come out, I think it will destroy you. Uh, and so, whenever it is that you realize that I need to get out of it, I think that's the perfect time to start moving in that positive direction. And then we'll go back. We'll go back to Brother Larry. He's trying to hide.
There's a question charged to you, Brother Ron, and that question is, can you be stuck in pain and it's too late? And then I'll touch back to that. I'll circle back to that question. But that question is for you. Can you be stuck in pain and it's too late?
What do you mean? Like, it's too late? I don't think
Meaning,
it's ever.
the way.
Go ahead. Yeah, clarify, because I don't want to.
My interpretation of the question is the way it was posed. My interpretation of it is there a point where you're so far in the pain that it's too late for you to overcome it and come out of it?
Okay, great question. My personal belief is, as long as there's breath, there's an opportunity to make a change for all of us, no matter what the circumstance, no matter what the situation. As long as there's breath in your body, I think that you have an opportunity to make a difference, to do things differently. But it all begins with what you said at the very beginning of this show. And you said you have to have that determination, that mindset to want to change, to want to do something differently. Because until you get there, then nothing can happen. Nothing positive can happen. Let's put it like that. But once you've made up that mind, your mind to want to change, and as long, and if you're doing that and we're having a conversation, that means there's still breath going through your body. So I don't care what your physical situation is. To me, it doesn't matter. There's always time to do things different, make a change, and that change is what will probably save you. Because once you say that it's too late, that's what we call hopelessness. And as long as we, the way I see it, we're from a people that endured under the worst circumstances imaginable, and they didn't give up hope. So who are we when we face a challenge or a difficult situation to quit? All you have to do is think upon your ancestors, those that you know, those that you may read about, and just know that their situation was worse than what we could ever imagine going through. And they still had an ability to dig in and find a way to overcome. So to answer the question, I believe as long as you have breath, there's an opportunity once you've made up your mind to do things different.
So I'm gonna touch on two things. Thank you, Brother Ron. That was an awesome answer, and I couldn't have put it better. I want to thank G for his comment. Yes, you can be stuck in pain. If you choose to ignore the blessing being put in front of you, then you will be stuck, no doubt about it. But it's never too late. Never. Brother G, I appreciate that. Thank you very much for that answer to that question that was posed. I want to circle back to really quick to the question that was posed by Joe. When you're actually going through the pain at the moment, when do you realize you need to get out, and what do you actually do to heal if time isn't the answer? So a few things. One particular thing, I'm just going to touch one thing for that answer in its totality. In the moment when you realize that you're in pain, that's the first step right there. Because most people who deal with their pain in secret, not only to the world, but to themselves. The worst thing that you could ever do is deny what you're going through to you. That's the first, that right there is where you begin that path down a dark hole, is not acknowledging the fact that you're in pain. So once you, that moment of, once you arrive to that place where you're acknowledging that you yourself are in pain, no one has to help you get there. You are self acknowledging, wait a minute, I'm hurting. Like this is, I'm really hurting. In that moment, you have to take a step. You have to just sit down. Somebody over, an elder once told me, you know, God is a God with a sense of humor. Before Eddie Murphy, before Richard Pryor, before Kevin Hart, it was God. He was the funniest one. He was the funniest one on two legs, 2 feet. He was the funniest one around. And there's something about God where when he nudges you to sit down, he's nudging you, trying to give you an opportunity to choose to sit down. Because one or two things happen. Either you sit down or you get sat down. And in acknowledging your pain, you are telling God, wait a minute, Lord, I know. Okay, I know. But now that I know, now I need to know what to do with it. So there's some things that follow that moment of you acknowledging. And it's hard. It is probably one of the most difficult things you are going to do in life, is acknowledge that something isn't right within you. Because if you feel it, you know what follows that? The fear that everyone else see it too. So the first thing we do is we try to find every cover we can to keep everybody else from seeing our brokenness, from seeing our pain, from seeing us not be 100. And that in itself is the most detrimental part of the pain, is that you're trying to hide it. So to get back to it, in that moment, you acknowledge it. Okay, well, what are we getting out of? Because when you say, well, at what moment do we get out of it? There are some pains, they stay, but they stay for a reason. And if I can really quick, I know everyone might not be, you know, biblically inclined, but I challenge you to go read the story of Paul, the thorn in my side. That thorn was, he asked God to remove that thorn. 3 times he went to God and said, God, let it pass. Remove it. I don't want it no more. And God said, but my grace is sufficient. Even in the midst of that thorn, even in the midst of that pain, I got something that can get you over in the midst of that pain. But I'm going to leave it there as a reminder. It's a reminder of your perseverance. It's a reminder that you can overcome. It's a reminder, first and foremost, that you also won't do it without me. You won't do it by yourself. There's someone to be here, and that's me, to be right here. And what I'll do is, in place of me, I'm gonna put somebody there. I'm gonna place the people that are there. The people that I place around you to help. I'm gonna put that circle around you, whether it be one or many. But I will supply every need. See, when we hear God will supply every need, we thinking food, clothes, water, home. No, he's talking about everything. When you going through, I'm gonna put something there that's gonna help you get through that. I'm gonna put something there. And that's what God has been doing to us all this time. Somebody's been there. That's how we got here, to be able to even discuss it. Because he's made a way for us to to be seen through our pains. And in terms of time, time isn't controlled by any man. But what is controlled within the time is what you do with it. That's why your choice is so important. We didn't choose, you might not have chose yesterday to acknowledge your pain, but you got right now. There's a song, Brother Ron, seeing as how you talking about songs. The song is called Tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'll give my life tomorrow. And I'll just leave it there. I'll give my life tomorrow. You don't have tomorrow. The song says, why tomorrow? You better choose the Lord today. Because tomorrow could very well be too late. That goes for everything we experience. Why would I want my pain to carry on to tomorrow? It's killing me right now. Why would I allow sickness that I could process right now and begin to heal from it right now? Why would I allow it to linger until tomorrow? It's not going to bring more people. It's not going to bring a better answer. Tomorrow's not going to offer me anything better than what today can give me right now. Stop looking at the hours. It doesn't matter that it's 7:45 and you think that it's late and it's only 4 hours and 15 minutes left in the day. None of that matters. You got right now. You can make a decision right now and say, you know what, in the midst of my pain, in the midst of my anguish, no matter who's around, no mama, no daddy, no friend, no sister, no wife, no husband. But right now I got me. God brought me in and he promised that he would take this ride with me as long as I'm breathing. You're not lonely if you have you. You are your best company. Unless you don't want to be. Make a decision to be your best company. That will allow others to understand what you need the minute you understand what you need. And with that, I yield. Brother Ron, ask the question because I see you.
And I was looking at some of the comments made in the chat, and I saw one from Brother Clark, and he said, and he reminded me the fact we talk about pain, and we oftentimes we think about it going the emotional part. But he said, I've been down and dealt with pain until I was crippled and bedridden. So what he reminded me, but he also said that he dealt with it, he persevered, and he overcame. But the thing that he said that to me was so telling is that we must recognize that mental pain, mental anguish can become so severe that it manifests itself physically and will take you down till you're bedridden. You can't get out of bed. I guess it's a form of depression setting in. But you want to get up and you can't. And then eventually you don't even have a reason to get up. You lose the desire. So this stuff is real. But what I like encouraged by is the fact that he's with us tonight and he's able to comment. And he said that he overcame. He overcame that situation. So to me, what I take from that is no matter what we're going through, no matter what challenges come your way or whatever obstacles placed in your path, and it becomes so real that it takes you down, and then that you become physically sick, bedridden, it's still not too late. As you said when you were talking about the Apostle Paul, there's some thorns in our flesh, but everything doesn't have to be unto death. Everything doesn't have to be unto death. We don't have to just accept that this is to death. It may not be that. It may be something that we can overcome, as I just saw someone just said, if you choose to overcome. That is so much, the power of life and death lie in the tongue and in our thoughts. As a man thinketh, so he is, So once you start thinking that and believing that, that's the first step to overcome it, in my opinion. I may be wrong, but I believe that. Because but this I believe we all can agree on. If you have no desire to overcome, if you have the willpowers, it's damn sure going to be a hard thing to overcome until you get that. So the key is to take those steps, to do those things that are necessary before you lose your willpower, man. There's so many people just popping up on the chat, man. I hope y'all can touch on it, man. I mean, it's beautiful, man.
I'm already on it, brother Ron. G, lighten it up. G, I appreciate you so much for being with us tonight, man. I'm gonna just read through what you said, and I'm gonna just because I want the world to hear it because it's so potent, it's so prominent, man. Um, and the covers eventually run out. When I was speaking about being covered, trying to hide our pain, G said, and the covers eventually run out, and then you're left exposed, vulnerable, and hurt, and trying to scramble for every answer. But if we choose to overcome, then that is the first way. That's the first step to getting rid of our pain. Serenity Prayer is the blueprint. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. You are spot on, telling us our power. Then I can't stress anymore how it is so human to be vulnerable, so human to experience pain, to experience hurt, and what we fail to realize, I think sometimes, is we don't have to put a cape on to overcome the things that we go through. They are stitched in the DNA of life. The same way the pain is set up for us to feel it, our overcoming is set up for us to expect to get out of that pain. They both go hand in hand. There is no plan for us to just live in our pain and our hurt and never find the means to overcome and live out of that pain and that hurt. It's the equivalent to a sunny day and a rainy one. There could be no appreciation for one without the other. I use that analogy so much when I talk to people when they wake up and it's raining outside and they're also saying to themselves, I can't believe it's raining today. But you're the same person who loves the green grass. You're the same person who loves the beautiful flowers that grow out the ground, who love to eat fruit off a tree, to go apple picking. Those things don't happen without that rainy day. So as we equate rainy days and bad weather to the downside of what weather should look like, if all it did was shine the sun, we live in a desert where the land would be dry and unfruitful. The rain is necessary, just like our pain is necessary. But what's also necessary is the overcoming of that pain for us to get to our next level. We weren't created to live in pain, but we have to make a decision. Choice is necessary. A choice. Sometimes you won't have someone there to help you make that choice. Sometimes all you will have is you. And as deep as that pain is, as we look at when we look at the root of the pain, when you look at pain, when you go inside and you search and you say, it hurts that bad, deep down at the pit of my soul, it hurts. If you look right next to that pain, your strength sitting right next to it. Because that's how far deep you got to dig to start pushing the pain up. You're going to have to take your strength that's sitting next to it and squeeze it under your pain. Sit your pain on top of your strength and then press forward. And every time you press, the pain comes up and you start filling pain space with strength. You start filling pain space with perseverance, with resilience, with prayer, with effort, with power. Stop sitting next to your pain and get up under it and start pressing towards your mark. Get behind it and start pushing it forward. Get it out your way. Because just like the analogy you use with going to the gym, you don't just leave the weight sitting on you. You press it forward. Get behind your pain, get in front of your pain, get up under your pain and push it off you. Get it off you. That's a choice. You can let it sit on you, let it cripple you, but I encourage you. I challenge you, just like every brother on this panel and everyone listening that's wrote in, I challenge you. If you haven't began to press your pain, if you haven't began to press your pain, press it today. Get it off you. Get it off you. we gonna start wrapping up. I think that was I think that's the benediction. That was church for the night. That was Sunday service at its best. Brother Ron, I'm gonna say mine first. I'm gonna let y'all. I'm gonna get mine off first. I'm gonna just leave with this. If you're hurting, if you're sick, whatever's mental can turn into physical. Whatever's physical can lead into your spiritual. And if all three are off, one affects the other. You need all three in line. And if any one of them are off, it's worth taking a look at. I challenge you tonight. I challenge you. Get it up off you. Put your hands to it. Notice what this looked like. Surrendering. Surrender to not fighting. And press. Get it up off you. And to that I yield. Brother Ron.
Yeah, because we got to leave it off, City. I just want to say this. I think what we're discussing tonight shows that the enemy has become more crafty, and he constantly tries to manipulate some things, just as he did in the garden, with Adam and Eve. And what I mean is that he told them half truths and things of that nature to lead them to where he wanted them to be. And so what I'm saying is there's a cliche that says time heals all wounds. And I think what the enemy has done is he's taken the other part out of it. Time may heal all wounds only when we choose to overcome. When we choose to overcome, then with time, the wounds will be healed. But we have to choose to overcome. And what the enemy has done is he's chopped off that second part, and just left it out there to confuse and to destroy, and allow people to just sit there and just wait on time to heal their wounds. And I think one thing that we've all agreed on tonight is that time by itself is not going to do it. Not when you're hurting, not when you're deep in pain. There's going to have to take something else, something that, I heard a pastor say, an unction, something else is going to have to come up. And you just talked about pushing. So we're talking about some action on our part to get out of that pain. And to that I yield.
Off City. Take us home.
Like we have all discussed and we all have agreed, you got to be in tune with yourself. You got to be willing to. You got to want better for yourself. Everybody talked a lot. Y'all said everything I wanted to say, so I'm just gonna say that. That being said, dang, the conversation was awesome. The chat's awesome. Show's awesome. So let's y'all know what we do. Let's salute it up to the day ones. Y'all know. Crosby Legal, let's go. All right, Life of Phoenix, let's go. All right, then we got A Father's Vision. Yes, let's go. Then we got Tough Stuff Productions, LLC, let's go. Then we got PM Prosperity, LLC, let's go. Then we got Star City Cleaning, LLC. Let's go. We out here. Y'all know what we do. Now, we had a deep conversation. I hope, me and my brothers hope that you continue this conversation with your brothers, right? We want to salute Joe for tuning in for tonight. Right. All right. And let's keep the discussions going. Let's keep the comments going. Let's share it. Let's like it. Let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it going, guys. All right. Let's tune in 2 weeks. What is it? I don't even got the date thing with me. But in 2 weeks, we're going to have a game night for everybody can understand. Y'all can get more of us. Y'all can get in touch with us. Y'all can understand who we actually are. We're not just a bunch of people just talking. We actually do stuff. You can ask us questions. We're going to have fun with it. All right? So with that being said, y'all know my motto. Walk in love and live in your blessings. All right? Let's get it.